Aurora and Arthur Petrova, Anarchy in the Kitchen. It is Monday, March 7th, in 2016, the most dismal Romford day ever been seen. The winter is waning, though spring's on the brink, while shops sell their Easter eggs, purple and pink. In flat 74, on the 6th floor so high, beneath a substandard and gray havering sky, the cacophonous traffic is incessant and loud, while the sun hides away, quite reluctant and proud. Aurora and Arthur look out at the street, where the diverse Romford crowds hurry and meet. They return from their school, maroon uniforms on, but their energetic spirits have already gone. Harrow Lodge Primary felt tedious today, and the monotony won't simply wither away. This TV is infantile, Arthur declares, as he shuns the remote, and he sits and he stares. Dressing up is so juvenile, Aurora agrees. I'm reticent, Arthur, and not at my ease. Rather than bicker or squabble or fight, they seek a new hobby to make things feel right. Let's bake, cries Aurora. We'll collaborate now. We'll demonstrate talent and show them all how. They ditch the old toys, and they find on a shelf an outdated Toshiba to help oneself. The manual's missing, but they proceed fast, as if this first cake is a thing that will last. They intentionally omit the scales and the weights, thinking measurements are for the people they hate. Calculating is redundant, Arthur assumes, as the scent of adventure through the small kitchen blooms. Aurora begins. She is loquacious and bright, in her pink glasses gleaming with internal light. She's ecstatic to cream all the butter and sugar, moving as fast as a pouncing young cougar. The sibilant sounds as the crystals all slide, while she maintains a sense of such egotistical pride. She doesn't hesitate to engage in the task. Is this sufficient? Arthur happens to ask. It is enough, she cries, albeit quite thin, as the energetic whisking and mixing begin. But Arthur decides he must intervene soon, grabbing a large and quite silver-hued spoon. Anarchy, he shouts with a petulant grin. Disorder and chaos, let the madness begin. He explains that it means a total lack of a rule, the antithesis of everything taught in their school. He adds excessive eggs and a heap of white flour, using sabotage as his ultimate power. To top things off, he adds making powder as well, ignoring the brink of a culinary hell. To make matters worse, it's a big error, Arthur. Aurora yells out, sounding just like her father. The batter is lumpy, it's horrendous and thick. We must add some water to exacerbate the slick. The kitchen is marred by the powder and goo, as they work on a project that's better for two. They overlook order and choose to ignore the puddle of egg that has leaked to the floor. They're enthusiastic, exhilarated, and grand, the most notorious bakers in all of the land. They pour the concoction into a round tin, not before adding some spice from a bin. It's inconsistent, Aurora implies, looking at Arthur with squinting pink eyes. The variable textures are part of the fun. By no means is our masterpiece nearly quite done. They shove it in the oven. It's a matter of stake for the future of this very strange-looking cake. It's an eyesore, says Arthur, to put it quite mildly, as the oven fan starts to whir rather wildly. While the cake starts to bake, or perhaps start to fry, a cacophony sounds from the hallway nearby. The door opens wide, and who should appear? The parents have returned, and the ending is near. Maria is back from her Mother's Day treat in Ipswich, where life is more spacious and sweet. She dons a bright orange and long-sleeved attire to conceal the old scars from a boiling hot fire. Petar is with her. His blue glasses are bright, but the state of the kitchen is a terrible sight. Kakvo pravite? Kakvo pravite? Petar asks with a roar. To add insult to injury, there's dough on the floor. Maria is livid, her fury is clear, as the stench of burnt powder begins to appear. Tova e bezobrazie, tova e bezobrazie, she yells, As the atmosphere in the flat currently swells, they are caught red-handed. It's the final straw. In a flat that has anarchy inside its door. I propose, says Maria, that you cease this at once. Do you think that your mother is some kind of dunce? Petar is incensed. He's infuriated and irate. Your behavior is something I truly must hate. You vandalized our home. It is out of bounds. The cost of this wreck will be many great pounds. He refers to the mess as stuff and nonsense, and dire, as his Bulgarian temper begins to catch fire. I planned Yvetch for our dinner tonight, but this appalling disaster has ruined the light. The children are silent. They don't even protest, as they fail their mother's ultimate test. Suddenly, a ping sounds out from the heat. The cake is now ready, but it isn't a treat. Arthur opens the door. It's a big error indeed, as the smoke starts to follow with incredible speed. The sponge is as flat as a pancake and sour, a victim of anarchy and too much white flour. It's abysmal, cries Petar. A lackluster show. To the bedroom, you rascals. Immediately, go. But Arthur is petulant. He starts to evade, regretting the mess that the two of them made. Arthur starts running. He's prone to a chase, with a look of defiance all over his face. Catch me, he shouts, as he leaps through the air, leaving poor Petar in totalized despair. Petar proceeds to pursue him with haste, through the batter and egg that has gone to such waste. The floor is quite slippery, erratic and slick, and Petar's old shoes aren't particularly thick. Stop, yells the father. You are on borrowed time. This juvenile sprint is a secondary crime. Don't intimidate me, Arthur yells as he flies, with a mischievous glint in his green-glassed eyes. But Petar is gaining. He's persistent and fast, thinking he'll catch the young rascal at last. Aurora is watching. She's reduced to her tears, as the sound of the squabble rings loud in her ears. Please stop, she requests, but her inquiry fails, as the wind of the chase fills the imaginary sails. The circumstance changes in the blink of an eye, as the pursuit of the boy starts to reach for the sky. Then the chaos escalates, things start to falter, in a way that no child or no parent can alter. Petar slips on a rug and he falls with a thud, in a heap of white flour and egg yolky mud. He inadvertently slides toward the mantelpiece ledge, near the roses that sit on the very far edge. The vase is a treasure, of porcelain white, containing the flowers that were Maria's delight. Oh no, cries Aurora. She's distraught and she's pale, as her father's attempts start to utterly fail. Crack goes the vase as it hits the hard floor. It's a sound that the family cannot ignore. The porcelain shatters, it's rended apart, breaking poor Maria's quite sensitive heart. The roses are crushed, they are marred and they're torn, on this Monday afternoon, so cold and forlorn. The scent of the petals is the only thing left of a gift that has left the whole family bereft. That's the last thing I wanted, Maria lets out, with a very severe and quite thunderous shout. Maria is livid. She will not be lenient, finding this anarchy most inconvenient. I'll confiscate gadgets. No screens for a week. The future of tablets is looking quite bleak. She points at the door. Her expression is stern. A lesson in order is what you must learn. Arthur is inconsolable, crestfallen and sad, realizing that baking was potentially bad. Under no circumstances, she continues to scold, will you act this way, whether young or quite old. I'm revoking your privileges, effective right now. You've broken the rules, and you've broken your vow. You're barred from the lounge, and you're banned from the play, until you can learn a more exemplary way. She orders them both to vacate the small room, to sit in the hallway in silence and gloom. Aurora is reticent. She doesn't resist, though a small bit of protest does briefly exist. It was an accident, Arthur tries to explain, but his words are to no avail, falling like rain. Petar stands up. He is covered in flour, feeling the weight of the current grim hour. He looks at his wife, who is silent and irate, and decides he must try to right-side the state. "I'll fix this," he whispers. "I'll right every wrong, though the road to forgiveness is technically long." He starts to clean up. He's a competent man, with a sponge and a bucket and a fresh frying pan. He wants to diminish the tension and strife and bring back the joy to his beautiful wife. "Let's start from scratch," Petar says to the air, as he pulls out the sugar with particular care. He ignores the Toshiba and finds an old book with the precise instructions for a professional cook. He measures the butter, the flour, the eggs, while the dog, if they had one, would sit on its legs. "I'll demonstrate how a real sponge should be made, so the memory of anarchy can finally fade." He is meticulous, careful, and slow, watching the golden-hued mixture start to grow. He whisks and he folds with a distinguished grace, with a look of deep focus all over his face. The secret, he tells them, is not to omit the patience and love that must go into it. The children come back. They are curious and still, as the scent of real baking begins to quite fill the sixth-floor apartment, so narrow and dark, lighting a tiny and hopeful new spark. "Is it ready yet?" Arthur asks from the door. He's not being petulant or vocal no more. The cake goes in the oven. It's a Victoria sponge, as the family takes a domestic new plunge. They wait for the timer. They wait for the rise, with anticipation in all of their eyes. "I'm sorry," says Arthur, "for being so wild, for acting like such an incompetent child." Aurora agrees. "I was snobbish and grand. I didn't quite value the help of your hand." Maria sits down. She is starting to calm, as the scent of the baking acts like a balm. The timer goes ding, and the cake is a dream, to be filled with some jam and some thick white cream. It's superior, golden, and perfectly round, the finest Victoria sponge to be found. "This is more like it," Petar says with a grin, as the healing of hearts can finally begin. "Fortunately," says Maria, "your father can bake, even if he can't catch a boy for his sake." They all start to laugh. The tension is gone, as the light of the evening starts drawing on. As they eat the sweet treat, the children lean in to confess to their folly and culinary sin. "We reiterate now," says Aurora with care, "our sincere apology, deep and quite rare. We are truly remorseful," Arthur adds to the plea, "for the chaos and mess that you both had to see." They look at their mother with hope in their eyes, underneath the gray light of the havering skies. Maria responds, "I can forgive what was done. The battle of baking is finally won. You may have your devices effective right now, since you've made such a heartfelt and serious vow." But her voice becomes stern as she issues a threat. "There is one more condition you must not forget. Next time there is such anarchy, mark what I say. 2 weeks without gadgets will be what you pay." They promise to listen. They promise to heed, appreciating hobbies they once didn't need. Nick Jr. and Nicktoons are treasures to view, and playing as Martians feels wonderful too. The Sky on Demand is a joy to behold, as the stories of heroes and magic unfold. With a stomach of sponge and a heart full of peace, the troubles of Monday can finally cease. In the heart of East London, so busy and vast, the Petrova family is happy at last.